Hello, I am Nancy Trivelato. In this video, I'm going to share with you a talk given by Wagner Alegretti, one of the researchers and instructors with the International Academy of Consciousness. Wagner will be talking about the out-of-body experience, especially how you can learn aspects that help you control your out-of-body experience and have more success in producing them at will. I hope you enjoy his talk. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it and what other aspects and questions you would like to bring here so that we can answer them in future videos. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy his video.
Have you ever heard anything or read anything about OBEs, out-of-body experiences? And if you have, I suppose you have been curious about how to produce them. So I would like to discuss here with you the main aspects in producing out-of-body experiences. I am Wagner Alegretti, one of the instructors, researchers of the IAC, International Academy of Consciousness. Out-of-body experiences are also called astral projection, astral travel, soul travel, and throughout human history, people have created many different expressions for this kind of very important, remarkable experience. OBEs are the condition, situation, or phenomenon where the person, the consciousness, leaves the body. This can happen in a natural, spontaneous way, can be provoked at will, or can be provoked by any other means that creates a big change in the human body. Sometimes, even in the case of accidents, could be the case of electrocution, or in many situations like what people call the near-death experiences. So, OBEs can be also very lucid when we are outside of the body and we know we are conscious, we are ourselves, we have our own sense of identity. Many times we can even control what we do, what we are going to do. Sometimes, in some cases, we can even extend the time we spend outside of the body. And in many situations, the most common ones, people leave the body spontaneously. Many times people don't even know what OBEs are. They just go to sleep to have an afternoon nap. When they suddenly feel leaving the body, they feel getting out, sometimes with some vibration, with expansion of the body. So many different kinds of experience that is so difficult for us to classify the different types of OBEs. But what is important for us here to know is that we can provoke these experiences. Even if we try many times and if we have just a small percentage of success, suppose if you try 10 times and then you obtain like 3 out of 10 trials anyway, there is a lot of benefit in having this kind of control, even if it is little at the beginning, but little by little, gradually, we gain more and more control, not only of the experience per se, but also of the means to produce it. So when we discuss about producing OBEs, we have our main challenges. First of all is to provoke the separation, to detach from the body. The second one is our level of lucidity, awareness when we are outside of the body. The third is how much control we have of ourselves, of the experience. Can we control where we go? Can we control well our energies, the extra-physical or the non-physical flight, and so many aspects of that. Another aspect is the level of transcendence, the quality of the experience. Because sometimes people leave the body, they float over the body, they pass through the wall, they go around the house, and they return to their physical body. So certainly there is a certain level of benefit in experience like this, but we can think bigger. So can we go to another planet? Can we go to another dimension? Can we meet someone who already passed through the process of death? Can we use out-of-body experiences to help other people or to improve, expedite our own evolution? So this is what we mean with the quality of our experience. But also very important is the duration of our experience. In general, the longer our experience is, the better for us. So there are some aspects that we can optimize to have an experience as long as possible. Another very important thing is the recollection, so the ability to bring back to the physical body as much information, memories that we can from the experience. And also, it's not only the amount of memories, but memories as precise, as unadulterated as we can, because sometimes we have trouble bringing back to the physical brain memories, perceptions, what we sensed or felt outside of the body. Another very important aspect is our ability to communicate what we experienced. So many times, even for our own records, to take note, our journal, many times we lack the expressions, the ideal words to convey the idea or the experience we had. Even worse is when we try to tell other people our experience. In general, the more transcendental our experience is, the more difficult it's going to be for us to communicate, to tell the experience we had. But all these aspects, they work together, and we are going to see how we can improve them. The first of the aspects in producing a out-of-body experience is, in fact, detaching from the body. This process, in fact, defines leaving the body, getting out. But we know that this happens spontaneously every night. So when we just go to sleep, during the process of the brain recovery and the revitalization of our body, the consciousness leaves the body partially, and of course we could consider this an out-of-body experience, but we are not expressing, manifesting any level of lucidity. But this detachment that happens spontaneously can be provoked by ourselves. So there are many different ways that we can study. So in our regular courses, like in CDP, we cover all of those in details. But let me give you a few examples here that you can use to help yourself to leave the body, producing, facilitating this detachment. But first, the most important thing is relaxation. The more you relaxed your physical body, the more you relax your consciousness, your emotions, the easier it's going to be for you to get out of the body. But people many times don't have a good idea of what a good deep relaxation is. Sometimes people just stop or just make their muscles a little bit loose and they think they are well relaxed. Or, well, perhaps for many different things. But many times this is not enough for us to have a out-of-body experience. The idea for us is to learn different techniques of relaxation, and there are many. Some focus on the body part by part, some are associated with our breathing, but the idea is to practice these techniques until we can get to the point when we don't feel the body at all. So you just feel yourself as a consciousness, as a mind, sharp, thinking, but you cannot pinpoint, your mind cannot map the position of each part of the body. So when you are in a condition like this, you facilitate a lot of the process of detaching from the body. Another aspect that works with this is your ability to intensify, vibrate, to put your energies in a different form of resonance. These energies, so many times called bioenergy, prana, chi, vital energy, there are so many different names, is in fact what keeps the consciousness and the astral body, psychosoma, extra-physical body, connected, glued to the physical body. So this energy body is in fact supposed to keep the consciousness inside of the body. So if we know how to control these energies, relax these links, we can facilitate the process of getting out of the body. So if you know techniques focused on energy, techniques that in fact use your intention, your will, so you can repeat this as you want, these techniques are going to help you. But let me give you a few examples here. There is a technique in which we move our energies inside of the body, and we cover this in some of our activities that we call velo. So is the voluntary energy longitudinal oscillation. So with this, among many other techniques, you can make your resonance intensify, and this relax our links with the physical body, and we can detach. The more control you have of the process of detaching the easier it's going to be for you to remain lucid, or at least to regain lucidity awareness when you are out. One of the most interesting experiences we have, in fact, it's a kind of a challenge, is to have one in which we get out of the body completely lucid. And when we get back inside of the body, remaining conscious all the time. So there is no break in our continuous line of lucidity. This is going to help our lucidity when we are outside of the body. Another very important aspect, main aspect we can control, we can try to improve in our out-of-body experiences, is our average level of lucidity while we are projecting and also when we are out of the body. And there are many different things that can interfere or can help us to be lucid. For instance, emotions usually reduce our level of lucidity, even sometimes provoking our early return to the physical body. Our energy development many times help us to be more lucid when we are out. Having a clear previous target, an idea, a kind of a small mission. So what is that you would like to do outside of the body? So even if you make a list of the main things you would like to do, to see, people to visit, these things help you to be lucid outside of the body. Also, think about practicing your level of lucidity in your everyday life. Usually we got so accustomed, automatized with having a kind of automaton, a kind of remote control kind of life. So we are like a zombie. So this doesn't help us to have our lucid out-of-body experiences. So try to be, during your normal day, as sharp, as focused on the moment, that place, that moment. Try to be as aware as you can of all different aspects there. You will see that you try to be completely lucid of everything you do without any kind of automatic behavior, but after a while, you just fall back in the normal, automatic zombie, mode of being, mode of working. But you will see, the more you practice, the better it's going to be for you, not only during this physical life, you are going to seize better the life, you are going to take more advantage of the opportunities you have here, but also you are going to have a easier time outside of the body to be as sharp as you can. And with this, you can also help other aspects of your out-of-body experience. You know that you can be lucid outside of the body. And many times we can be as lucid as we are here right now in this physical life. We know that we are not dreaming now. So you will be outside of your body many times knowing that you are not dreaming. You know that is real. But then you think, well, if I'm so lucid here right now, let me try to take as much advantage as I can from or of this experience. So you try to make your experience as long as possible. So what are the main things that you can use to optimize this duration of your experience? First of all is preparing before you leave the body. Try to leave your body in a condition that is as comfortable as possible, without possible interruptions, without a temperature that is not comfortable for you, without having your stomach too full. So anything physiologically that could trigger your process of getting back to the body. While you are out, try also to be very calm, serene, focused, as much as you can. Emotions, even good ones, they tend to bring you back to your physical body. So try to be like Mr. Spock, very logical, and celebrate later. When you get back to the physical body, you are going to celebrate what you got there. So when you are projected, try to think of the purpose of your experience, because many times we made before a list of the main things you would like to see, to learn in a typical, in a possible future out-of-body experience. So when you have a particular target, a goal, this helps you to be outside of the body for as long as possible. But also this depends on the environment where you are. Some environments give you more energy, so it's easier for you to stay longer. Some environments, they take more energy from you, so you tend to be in a shorter period outside of the body. The more energy training you have, even before leaving the body, of course, in your normal life, the longer your experiences tend to be. Another aspect there that in fact interferes in a positive way with all the aspects of the OBEs is the presence of our extra-physical mentors, spiritual guides. They many times help us to be outside of the body as long as possible so we can learn more or we can help more other people, other consciousnesses. At the beginning, when we are striving to leave the body, basically any kind of experience, as long as it is positive, is good for us. But many times we have experiences that are not so remarkable, but at least at the beginning they give us the opportunity to experience different aspects of the OBEs. Like for instance, floating, passing through the wall, trying to manipulate physical objects. We go and can be in front of someone and the person doesn't see us. We could go out, floating, fly around of our house, we get back. So, perhaps for you now, this would seem like a big, success, and it is. But with time, you will think, well, what else that I can do outside of the body? So it's important for you to think big. So imagine, try to simulate in your mind now, if later, today, tonight, if you have a projection, what would be the best way for you to learn, to gain something positive from that experience? Could you go to the moon? Could you go to another planet? Would you try to go to another dimension? Would you like to go to the place, that kind of non-physical community of other spirits, other souls, where you were before being born? Would you like to get some idea about your life plan, your life mission? Have you ever thought of meeting one of your helpers, your extra-physical mentors? What would they tell us that could help us to take more advantage of this opportunity in this life? Have you ever thought of going to help someone who died but wasn't ready for that? Perhaps the person died with a lot of suffering, confusion, fear. So this perhaps gives you an idea of how many things we could do in our out-of-body experience. But that's why many times knowledge about all of these possibilities is very important, it's very positive for you. Try to study, try to read, try to talk to other people so you can see in books of other projectors the kind of experiences they had. In our course on CDP, we cover many times these main benefits of the projection, what we can do, not only to help others, but even to help ourselves. Just as another example, sometimes we can even be outside of the body and create a condition in which it's much, much easier for us to have a recollection, not only of a past life, but also of the past period before we were born. So we can have a better idea about our life mission here. Another essential aspect of our out-of-body experience is our ability, capacity to recover, to bring back to the physical body the memories of what we experienced while we were out. And these memories are very special because they were not produced inside of the physical brain. Like when we are seeing things, hearing things, these memories are immediately coded because they enter through our senses. In this case of the projection, we as consciousness, as non-physical ones, we are out. We can see, feel, do things, learn things, but the physical brain is not getting, at that moment, all this data. So when we get back to the physical body, we need to integrate all this data information inside of our brain, so then later on, when we wake up, we will remember. And there are many different aspects, and we cover some of these techniques. But for you to think, main aspects: have a good memory, take care of your brain, eat well, exercise, rest well. Sleep is very important. Also, memory is something that we train. If we don't use our memory too much, perhaps it's not going to get that good. You will suffer some level of atrophy. Also, the more we unblock our head chakras, the easier it's going to be for us to bring these memories back to the brain. But then we can see in another opportunity what kind of approaches, techniques we can use to expand, unblock these energies here. Also, it's very good if you make a mental list of the things you experience during your projection. But we are going to discuss later this in more details, how this can be more effective in each of our cases. But also very important is to create the habit of recording or taking notes, writing one out-of-body experience immediately or as soon as possible when we get inside of the body. The more you write, the easier it's going to be for you to remember the future projections. Another challenge related to OBEs is trying to communicate what we saw, what we experienced. So the more lucidity you had, the better it's going to be for you to find the words to tell your experience. But also, try to see if, with time, you can build a vocabulary as rich as possible, perhaps even in other languages, because sometimes some expressions, they have no translation. So this is going to create in your mind the right symbols or words or expressions for you to convey the idea of something that you experienced. But please, be ready, prepared for the fact that sometimes you don't find the words to express, to describe some things you saw or you felt outside of the body. That's why you will see that many, if not all, the projectors, people who leave the body, they tend to create their own expressions, their own jargon, because many times there is no other way for us but to create words, expressions that can bring here as much as possible the subtleties, the transcendence of the out-of-body experiences we had. Again, the more you write, the more you tell others about your experiences, the more you are going to train your ability to translate these extra-physical, subtle, transcendental experiences into our symbols for communication here in our regular life. Besides, or beyond all these aspects we discussed about optimizations, the main aspects in the production of OBEs, there are many little things that perhaps are particular, specific to some people, but according to my experience, giving classes and giving training about OBEs since 1985, so basically it's more than 35 years of experience in this area. I have noticed that some kinds of tricks, tips and hints are useful, they are effective for many people. Like for instance, many times if we have a lot of physical exertion, if you practice sport, if you run a lot, if you have a kind of physical tiredness, but with a good state of mind, this helps in projecting. What is the worst for us many times is when we are mentally tired. So after a whole day working with a lot of stress, a lot of worries, this is usually the worst for us to be able to have an OBE. Another thing that can help a lot of people to have OBEs is, instead of trying to have the OBEs during the night, you will see that many times taking advantage of a nap during the day, in the afternoon, is the ideal, because in this situation, we don't tend to fall asleep so quickly, and we don't go so deep in the sleep state. Another optimization that we cover in our courses is trying to wake up in the middle of the night, around 3 a.m., and then you get out of your bed, you get a little bit more awakened, and then you get back to your bed, relax, and try one of the techniques to leave the body. And certainly, you know a little bit about techniques, and we are going to cover this in other videos. There are many techniques. None of them is the ideal 100% effective. You have to study and try many different techniques to see which kind of techniques are the best in your case. And there are many other details in preparing, optimizing your physical environment, your physiological condition, your emotional condition. Many of these things, they have to be tried until you can fine-tune all of them, because isolated, none of them will really provoke the out-of-body experience, but when you add up all of them, you increase a lot. Not only the odds of leaving the body, but also the quality of the experience you are going to have. So you see, it is worth all this effort and time because you can take so many benefits from your out-of-body experiences. You will see that you should not expect to have like 100% success index in leaving the body. But perhaps at the beginning you will need to try 100 times to have 1 or 2 conscious, lucid OBEs. But this percentage will grow little by little. It will float over time. Some weeks you can have more, some phases of your life you're going to have less. But more important than amount, quantity of OBEs is the quality of your experiences. Sometimes you can have 1 or 2 experiences among many smaller ones that can change your life. Imagine if you get an idea for an invention. Imagine if you get the inspiration for a new theory. Imagine if you get a very pretty good idea about your life mission. These are the things that are worth for us in all this effort in leaving the body. It's our evolution and the evolution of others. Thank you very much for your attention, and as always, be lucid. See you next time.